What is up, guys? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. It is, what is today? Tuesday night? Tuesday evening? All day, every day? Richard Allen needs a pay it to. It's like a GoFundMe. Wait, to get expert witnesses? Come on now, this cannot be accurate. Again, guys, welcome to the transparency. We're going to talk about it on a different location at a different site here. So bear with me on some of the sound. Well, this is just wild. I went ahead and I pinned. This is it's not that you're donating to this channel or anything like that. That is a direct link to pay, whether it is $1, whether it is $5. I know people have sent me messages saying that they went ahead and already donated, but I've never seen anything like this in my life. You got news outlets are now talking about it, but Fran Gull went ahead and denied the defense's request for funding. All right, remember, he's an indigent. You're supposed to have, right to this, right to that, right. Richard Allen's attorneys aren't even being paid. Now he can't get expert witnesses because they're denying the funding. Actually, the transparency, the minimum donation is $3. If that's true, that's true. Don't know that. Didn't know that. But let's take a look here. Hopefully, we watch this little ticker rise there. The goal is 25,000. Guess who started this? Daddy David Hennessy started this, not his attorneys, but actually Hennessy started this fundraiser.
That's why they call him the mud pipe.
So he believes 100% in Richard Allen's innocence, and is he started this fundraiser, and it goes all the way until May. I want to say 10th. Is that when it cuts off? But this is the official expert expense fund for Richard Allen. Richard Allen was once employed as a licensed pharmacy technician at the CVS in Delphi, Indiana. On October 31st, 2022, Mr. Allen was arrested for a crime that he maintains he did not commit. Mr. Allen has been accused of committing Abby and Libby's murders, but is investing everything he has to fight for his freedom and for justice for both victims of this heinous crime. He is presumed innocent until proven guilty through a court of law and has an absolute right to a fair trial, which is currently being violated. Funds are being raised to pay expenses related to expert fees and costs. That's what he wrote. 208 people have donated right now, and that total is $12,318. And again, that deadline right here is May 10th, 2024. May 13th is the trial date. So this is wild. This is wild. Let's take a look at something else.
Is now getting public donations to help with his defense. Senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel joins us to explain this unusual request by the defense.
Well, the request is coming from the defense team who've been helping to fight to make sure that Richard Allen gets a fair trial. So they have launched an online campaign to raise money for defense experts. And so far, the campaign appears to be working. This is the website that's raising money for Allen's defense. So far, it's raised more than $9,000, and it's being administered by David Hennessy, a longtime Indianapolis attorney who's been helping Allen and his public defenders. Earlier today,
Oh my God, Chrissy,
News, the defense team has not been getting the funding they asked for and that they feel they are supposed to be getting from Carroll County. Court documents show they think Judge Francis Gull is denying them access to money that is crucial to mounting Allen's defense. And they say that will result in a trial that is not fair or equitable. Now, coming up, I'll show you specific examples of funding the defense has asked for that they did not get. And we'll look at the larger question raised by this online fundraising. Why are the defense team's requests being denied? And is the judge being fair to Richard Allen and his attorneys? We've got all that coming up tonight at 5.
So, Bob, do we know where exactly this money would go?
Well, when I spoke to Mr. Hennessy earlier today, he told me that the money will only be used for defense expert witnesses, and that they're going to be paying for those experts, not going to attorneys, not going to Richard Allen. So we don't know the names of the expert witnesses, but Hennessy insists that's the only place the donations are going to go.
Wow. Like so many other aspects of this case, it's yet another thing that I've never heard about before.
Right. Yeah. No, I've talked to some very experienced attorneys. They say technology now allows attorneys like everyone else to do things that perhaps they couldn't have done in the past. But this is an area that is not commonly used right now when it comes to raising money for those people accused of murder in these types of cases.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
There's more people covering it. Let's take another look here. Let's see what else we have. I believe Court TV has made. You guys know that they've added all of these people to help Nick McClelland. All right, so the prosecution has countless weapons to fire at all cylinders at Richard Allen for this trial that kicks off May 13th. And Richard Allen, basically, Gull, okay, she's allowing, the prosecution has all these weapons, but here, the defense team, what do they have? It's unreal. Like I said, I've never seen anything like this. How is this not being set up to have to be a retrial? I mean, if Richard Allen doesn't have the means to defend himself, to give himself even like a fair shake at trial, how can you not have expert witnesses? How are you going to be able to combat their expert witnesses? How is any of this? This is not what being and living in the United States is all about. This is not what it's like to go up. And if you were in his shoes or anybody that was these are our rights that should be afforded to us. And his attorneys want to do all these things. They put in a hell of a lot of time that they're not even being compensated for. And here Gull she's denying funds for them to have these expert witnesses. I'm at a loss for words. So, imagine how many innocent people are in prison and cannot prove it because of money. Yeah, but when it's a crime, like when it's criminal and you have public defenders, you are supposed to be having X, Y, and Z. These are things that come with the territory of, for example, when Chris Watts was arrested and he had public defenders, his public defenders flew to North Carolina to basically advocate for themselves so that they would stay on the case and saying, listen, you don't need to go out and pay all this money to get private representation. We can do all this stuff for you and it's going to be free, and we can get all the experts. We can do all of these things that the state's going to afford, and pay for. Why would you go out and get, private representation? I've never heard of anything like that in my life, but that's exactly what happened in that case. But his defense team saying that they have unlimited resources and money. That's what they told his family. And, so staying with a public defender, you're going to be able to have all this stuff. You're not going to be able to have it because you can't afford it. So I'm over here just like, wow. Chat, the link donate is pinned at the top of the chat. Yes. And that just goes right into that fund. I know already people have donated. People have sent stuff to me saying that they had donated. Even the bare minimum. I just think for all the people that watch all these channels that talk about the Delphi case, if everybody out there donated $3, you'd be amazed at what that fund could generate. So let's pull up this again. Right now, that is at, again, $12,318. You can spread the word too. If you click on that, you can share it on your Facebook. You can share it on, if you use Twitter. I think if you can't donate, then this is free to do, which would be spread the word, use your Facebook, use your Twitter, and share this, because somebody else that can afford to do it will see it. You know, there's people out there that don't even know this is going on right now. But on day number 2, the fund is almost halfway to the target. The public is killing it with the donations. Yes. Unsolved crimes uncovered. Absolutely. Here I am going to drop down also the link. If you want to hit it, tell us what you think. Have you ever seen anything like this in your life? You have any comments to this? Not only the amount of money, but everyone giving a small amount would show how many people are watching. Yeah. And the other thing that I don't know if you guys have been seeing that's been denied is the news outlets have put in the right for media to at least have, like, you know, at the Daybell trial, we were able to get that audio. Gull's denying this stuff left and right. No to recording. No, you're not going to be able to watch it. You're not going to be able to listen to it. I mean, aren't these trials supposed to be, you know, seen? This is not supposed to be secret. This is not some secret society. So people have been following this case since 2017, and now it comes down to the trial, and Gull wants to, you know, almost make it seem like, well, this is going to be in Carroll County, small venue. You better be in line earlier. You're not getting in. How is this judge getting away with this with so many eyes watching? I don't understand. B, you and me both. I also don't understand. This is almost just setting up. If Richard Allen was found guilty, how is this not an automatic, you know, an appeal? But also, is this setting it up if Richard Allen is found innocent? Like, I mean, are they going to be able to appeal things? Like, because I don't know how that could possibly help them. Like, you handicap this man, and now the state wants to appeal, you know, the verdict.
Osborne just talked to Fox about it, and I think what he said is amazing. He said it's unheard of, and Osborne would know because he's a professor for it.
Oh, Jackson's you reading the Mormon book over there?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I already wrote the book.
Okay. Again, the link is pinned.
Co-defense counsel Brad Rossi has more than $51,000 in unreimbursed fees that Gull won't reimburse him for.
51,000. That's
more
right.
than, and that's just Rossi's.
Yeah, and didn't Hennessy write up a nice little summary of that?
Sure you have it. You want your opening the link? $51,000 is just Rossi's. It's a problem.
Yeah. So 51,000 in outstanding billable hours.
It's not just billable hours.
It's expenses.
For expenses and not, again, just Rossi. That's not Baldwin.
What is the fundraiser for? Late to the party here. Oh, it says it right there on the screen. Experts for Richard Allen. So it's right there. Experts for Richard Allen. So that's what, now let's take a look if I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page. Let's see what we're at here. $12,501. So it has gone up roughly almost, what, $200 there? Look at that. Not too shabby. We are fundraising. The world is fundraising for Richard Allen. This could be anybody. These are our rights. I cannot believe this, but this is, you know what I want to see? I want to see this number skyrocket, and it will be just a big fuck you to Fran Gull. Fuck you. If this number start putting this on all these media outlets, all right, and make this number a big fuck you to her. That's what I want to do. I want this number to just be a huge fu. I mean, who is that woman married to? Start keeping your end of the bargain, and maybe she wouldn't be such a grump. She even married. Again, $51,000 still owed to Rossi. That isn't even counting Baldwin. $51,000 outstanding. Again, that's billable hours, expenses. That's just Rosie. Again, welcome all. So let's take another look here at let's see. Again, this money is going straight to the experts. I'm going to play you guys some clips. Let's see. Karen Reed, by the way, she was just in court again. That's another big mess over there. Let's see here.
Not a place where you worry about your teenage kids deciding to go on an adventure. So when Abby Williams and her best friend Libby German decided to go on a hike near the Monon High Bridge in the middle of the day, no one thought it was dangerous. But when Libby and Abby did not show up when they were supposed to get picked up, their families began to worry and they began to search. Then the next day, the worst news possible. The bodies of these two young girls were found, both victims of murder. As the investigation progressed over 5 years, there were sketches of the suspect that looked like two different people, and there was video of the killer. And finally, an arrest of the accused murderer, Richard Allen. Allen says he didn't do it, and he also alleges it was a group of Odinites who are responsible, white nationalists practicing an ancient Nordic religion. This case has also been buried in legal controversy involving Richard Allen's attorneys, who were on the case, off the case and replaced, and then back on the case. Tonight, we'll speak with one of his replacement attorneys about Allen's innocence, his treatment while in custody, and Odinism as we continue our investigation of the Delphi murders. I'm Vinnie Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Abby and Libby were best friends. And when I think about what happened to them and the moments of terror that they went through, the fact that two were murdered doubles the tragedy, obviously, but for each one of them, at least they weren't alone, right? I mean, that's a small consolation, but it reminds me of what we're dealing with out in Idaho with Kaylee and Maddie, best friends, who were also murdered when they were
Maybe we're dealing with corruption out there too.
It's incredible loss for two families.
All right, so I want to zoom upward, and he talks to right here.
Believe that Richard Allen is innocent. Do you have an opinion on that?
I do. I don't think Mr. Allen had anything to do with this. I honestly don't.
Boom.
Now, what I believe, nobody cares. My job would have been to convince 12 jurors of that.
You're a defense attorney, so that's your job to sort of say your client is innocent. Is that
No, that's not their job.
something you say about
Not
all
their
your
fucking
clients?
job.
No, and rarely do I believe it. But in this particular case, I believe it 100%.
And what convinced you?
Conversations with him, the fact that he lived in this very small community that's not much bigger than a high school. He worked at the CVS in Delphi. The police sketches are hung up in the CVS. The bridge guy picture is in the CVS. And in 5.5 years, no one comes into that store and says that kind of looks like you. And I don't know if this has any relevance. And, you know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but an arrest was made 24, 27 days before a sheriff election.
Woohoo!
Just my humble opinion that played some kind of role in his arrest. He hadn't moved. He hadn't changed his story. No facts or evidence have changed to my knowledge that brought law enforcement back to him 5.5 years later. He has no criminal record. They raided his house, took all of his social media. There's no ties to this Odinistic cult whatsoever. He didn't even know that there was Odinist in Delphi. He had never heard of it. Just a lot of things don't make sense.
Bradley Rosie and Andrew Baldwin also said that that there's no electronic evidence linking him to the crime scene or the girls, and that there's no DNA of his at the scene. Is that accurate?
Yes. As far as I can tell, yes.
All right, we're going to bring in some more guests to join me and Barbara here.
Okay, anybody out there that thinks that we're helping just Richard Allen, we're helping ourselves as well. Okay, this is about power. This is about a judge not being able to do this to somebody. This is against our rights. Okay, Richard Allen has a right to a fair trial. And by Judge Gull not approving funding for Richard Allen to have the experts needed to testify at his trial on his behalf, okay, based off of the evidence and the work that went into then would be their testimony, that is not a fair trial. And in fact, that's a handicapped trial. We don't get to go to trial handicapped when the defense has no way to utilize any personnel, but the prosecutor, Nikki needs to be piggybacked, picked up on by his little hair plugs, put on some horsey that's the female prosecutor that they brought in, as well as 2 extra secretaries, legal aides. I mean, look at all the extra shit that he has. You guys, so this is not just why are we helping Richard Allen? We are helping ourselves. And if you don't believe that, then I pity the fool. You are also innocent until proven guilty. I've never heard of such fuckerage. This trial should be played for everybody out there to witness truly what has gone on for the past, since 2017. Hell, way longer than that in Delphi. But since 2017, and since these 2 girls were found, the world has, first of all, we've all been asked to help. Okay, we've all been asked to help, to give tips, be part of this. Then they arrest somebody and then they gag it. Okay, and now they want to have this trial in secrecy, a trial that they used the public for, and now we're going to have, this is going to be done in secret. We're not going to have, a camera in there. We're not going to have any recording devices in there. We can't see what takes place. Okay. So anybody that is ignorant enough to come in here and say, why would we help this man? You're a fucking idiot, period. And I love highlighting idiotic comments. So, okay, I didn't realize the judge did that. I didn't understand what was going on. Well, this is what this is supposed to do. It's supposed to inform. Why would it be helping somebody? Well, I would hope that anybody would help anybody that's innocent until proven guilty, especially when your rights are being strapped from you. Richard Allen most definitely has the right to a fair trial. And this judge saying and denying funding, she's denying funding, paying for his attorneys. She is doing everything to squeeze these people. And that's why I think it's imperative that we, the people, show Gull that she ain't fucking shit. And we do this. David Hennessy started this. This wasn't started by some random like person or like Kathy, his wife. This was started by David Hennessy. This, what you would, it's like a GoFundMe, but it's a little more tamed in terms of, but 219 people have donated, and this has only been going on for about a day and a half. Their goal was 25,000. I even think that's freaking low budget. We're talking about a really low budget film. 25,000 is, I know somebody that just paid, 32,000 for one of their false confession expert witnesses. I know somebody that paid 52,000 2 years ago. So 25,000 total to be raising. I want to see this number blow it out of the water. And it'd be a big old FU to Gull. And so I think that what's interesting is that mainstream media wants to talk a little bit about this, that, oh, the defense has started like a, crowdsourcing way to fund. The defense didn't start this. This was not started by the defense. David Hennessy started this. So that's number one. That's where mainstream media can't even get the simplest of who started the fucking thing. It says it right on here. David Hennessy started it. It says it right here. Okay. Organized by David R. Hennessy Law Office. Okay. This is not organized by the defense. So that's where you probably want to start. Then you want to read why it's going on. And in this disclaimer, it says exactly that his rights are being violated. Richard Allen is presumed innocent until proven guilty through a court of law and has an absolute right to a fair trial, which is currently being violated. Funds are being raised because Gull has denied the motions for the state to pay for Richard Allen's funding for his experts, which is supposed to happen when you have public defenders. Just like your public defenders are supposed to be paid by the state. Do you think that Ann Taylor would be raising hell if she wasn't getting paid right now? Who does this woman think she is? Period. David Hennessy, defense attorney David Hennessy, who has done more to preserve rights of the accused than anyone in Indiana. Yeah, he's badass. And I love that he gave Gull hell. So I just, what is up, Sleuthy? Welcome. This is just, I've never seen in all the years that I have followed true crime, following the news, I've never seen anything like this in my fucking life. And you got mainstream media right now. Share this link. Share it. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Somebody's like, it's right in front of our faces. Somebody's rights are being just completely violated. Meanwhile, Chris Watts's public defender said that we have disposal of $1 million to defend you after you put your kids in oil tanks, right? But hey, stay with us. We're going to fly to North Carolina to tell your parents not to go get a private defense team and stick with us, because guess what? We can get our hands on every resource possible, and we can have all the experts, and we can have this and we can have that. And it's not going to cost you $1 million. We're just going to spend the state's money. That's what was happening back when Chris Watts, a guy who, like, when you want to talk about some fuckerage here going on, Colorado was willing to toss out millions to represent him. Richard Allen can't even get some like little stubs signed off on by this frizzy ass bitch. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Somebody needs to keep the end of the bargain in the marriage or the relationship that Gull's in and do their part so that she can take, her frumpy ass and turn it upside down, because this is a joke. This is crazy. And all this is setting up, like, you want to talk about a family that doesn't want to go through another trial? You're going to go through another trial. If Richard Allen's found guilty, you're going through another trial. This is where this is headed. So that's the other thing that just blows my mind. Indiana doesn't want to, when they say when you it comes out expensive, when you go cheap, you're going to pay for it. It comes out expensive. Well, all the state, all the taxpayers in Indiana, they should be so pissed right now because y'all are going to pay for this all over again. And then I want to know why Nikki gets to be put on a little horsey and have all of this, armored. When I say that, he has everything at his disposal for this trial. And here, Hennessy and Rossi haven't been paid in how long? And then they're getting denied funding for expert witnesses. It doesn't make any sense. I almost feel like this is criminal. Yeah. The folks who thinks he's shit out of luck and shouldn't have experts are the same folks who would be audacious enough to use up as much tax money as possible to fight a case brought against themselves. Yeah. They're just going to pay for it all again. I think this is criminal. Hi, this is the precedent for court cases going forward. People have to stand up and say no. I know. These are Richard Allen. We're preserving our rights, guys. This is way bigger than just the name Richard Allen. This is all of us. This is anybody that lives in the United States of America, especially if you're living in Indiana, man. Run. Let's see what we're at here. Again, this just got started, I think, a day and a half ago. And anybody that's donating, kudos to you. She only allows cameras in the courtroom when she's trying to swing her big balls and throw her defense out. How can it not be criminal? I mean, right? This is insanity, man. This is, I want to know, come on, Hennessy, you're a smart man. Is there any way that Gull can be brought up on some charges here? This is insane. Allen County Jail is so damn overcrowded, but instead of law reform, we will build a bigger one. True. Can you blow a hiss to Hennessy for the chat? I was blowing kisses. I love his little bald head. He's a good man. Yeah, let's go back over here. Just to hear the other lawyer that popped on for that little stint to talk about that. Hey, we think he's innocent. I think he's innocent.
Joining us in Orange County, California, the author of Forest for the Trees, a book about the Delphi murders, investigative producer Chris Todd. And in Salt Lake City, Utah, retired police commander, religious cult expert, host of the Profiling Evil podcast, and the author of the book Deceived, an investigation into Zion Society cult. Mike King is.
You guys want to hear me roast Mike King? Let me know if you guys want me to roast Mike King. What he gave a top 10 reasons that Richard Allen's guilty. That man should never speak again on a live broadcast. Thank you there. Yes, anybody and everybody that's donated. He gave a top 10 reasons, his top 10 reasons of why Richard Allen is guilty. And I listened to that one night. I said, is this man for real? For real?
Here. Barbara, I'll start with Barbara, though. I'm going to ask her a quick question. The fact here that you're asking him about, he believes in the innocence. What was the sense you're getting in the room with him?
That he felt that. He was very sincere, I thought. His answers were careful and deliberate, but I thought he was sincere and he believed what he was saying.
Chris Todd, you investigated this thing. One of the things that he points out, for 5 years, the pictures of the sketches of the killer, that don't look alike, but that's another story, right? The picture of the actual video grab are in the CVS where this guy's working, and no one's putting two and two together. What are your thoughts about why the arrest of Richard Allen in that time frame?
Well, we've talked about this before, and I don't believe Richard Allen is Bridge Guy. And I believe that's what we're all talking about here, is how would no one recognize him his
this.
voice, his body type, his height. How would nobody know that it's him? I don't believe he is Bridge Guy. I've stated who I believe that is. I'm not going to say it this second, but I do believe Richard Allen is involved. I just don't think he's on the bridge.
And that gets us to a whole nother place, right?
All right. You guys want a little bit of Mike King. I'm gonna give you guys Mike King's top 10. So here we go. Well, we're again, this is not just a truth and transparency fundraisers for Richard Allen. This is a David Hennessy started a fundraiser to fundraise. And so what we're doing is we're promoting this fundraiser. So again, take a look. That link is pinned, please, even if it's $3, $1, you know what I mean? But let's take a look at something else here really quick. And
was near the bridge when the video was captured with the suspect, the bridge guy. From there. Number 1, Richard Allen acknowledged to police that he was, in fact, on the Monon High Bridge Trail on the day of the murders. Number 2, he told investigators that he was wearing jeans and a blue or maybe black car.
Number 1, Allen tells police he was on Monon High Bridge on day. That's the number 1 reason why Richard Allen is guilty. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2.
Hat jacket. Same day on the day that he walked the Monon High Bridge and he saw the girls. Allen's wife also confirmed that he owned a blue Cardiff jacket, and I believe it was recovered when the search warrant was served. Number 3, a vehicle resembling Allen's 2016 Ford Focus was observed near the trail on the same day the murders occurred.
That's not even accurate. That's not even an accurate statement. That's not even an accurate statement.
Now, that places him there. Number 4, in an October 13, 2022 interview, Allen admitted again that he saw Abby and Libby on the trails east of the Freedom Bridge. And number 5, right off the bat, witnesses reported seeing a man who resembled Allen in muddy and bloody clothing on the Monon High Bridge.
Number 5, not accurate either.
Trail. Hey, and since I'm fired up, let me just add the 6th one. On the victim's phone, that mobile phone that captured images of the bridge guy, one of the victims reportedly mentions the word gun as the man approaches. Now, these are all confirmed facts that have come out during the investigation.
These are all confirmed facts. You guys, I can't make this and then I said to myself, oh, he must have done this a while ago. No. This was done, God, 1 month ago. I'm sorry.
Or revealed either through the arrest affidavit or statements made by police or other people in a position of authority. But it doesn't end there. Police also released information about the crime scenes, revealing that there were multiple crime scenes in this case. For instance, we can now theorize with some confidence that the initial contact site was near the bridge when the video was captured with the suspect, the bridge guy, and the victim's realization that the person had a weapon. That's going to be up to you to decide if you believe that that's really what was said on the video or not. Now, there are many true crime junkies out there who say one person couldn't have controlled both girls in this crime scene. I just disagree. I've seen evidence in too many cases where that is exactly what happened. I mean, imagine the debilitating fear that the girls might have experienced when they were facing a calm man who, again, was very calm and deliberate in his commands, a commanding person. But not only that, he was pointing a firearm at them. Predators count on our goodness in these kinds of situations, knowing that most of us wouldn't intentionally hurt another human being. In fact, what happens is we
We have to get onto
vicariously
his.
place our own value system on the predator, thinking, hey,
Okay.
ballistically matches the 40 caliber Sig Sauer timing of those other 4 or 5 calls, not only just to his wife, but we also know that one of those calls was to his mother, where he explained that he was the guy. So here are a couple of things that I believe are going to come out and be accepted by the court. Number one, that the bullet recovered next to the victims ballistically matches the 40 caliber Sig Sauer handgun that was recovered in that search warrant at Richard Allen's home. Now, what hasn't been shared are the identifiable ballistics on that bullet, and frankly, and on the gun. I mean, are they scrapes and scratches on the sides of the casings? Are there artifacts from the base of the casing? Or is there a firing pin strike suggesting that there might have been a misfire? Did police recover any kind of DNA from the unspent cartridge? And keep in mind, what I consider to be the 8th reason why Richard Allen might be found guilty of these murders. When Allen was questioned about that unspent round that was found near the victims' bodies, and remember, this is an unspent bullet that, according to the state, forensically matched Allen's 40 caliber Sig Sauer handgun. Allen didn't have an explanation for how.
He wouldn't have an explanation. He'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? How would he have an explanation as to why there was like shell casing there that you're trying to tell him that it's from his gun? He's like, his thing is that Allen has no explanation. He cannot explain how bullet ends up at crime scene because I don't think that it is I mean, what are you talking about? But this is what he is saying is like going to be like nails in the coffin. This was done a month ago.
How that bullet ended up there. But he did say that he hadn't loaned the weapon out to anyone, that he hadn't allowed anyone to use the weapon. And he confirmed his tie to the bullet that was found at the crime scene and that tie to his weapon that was recovered in his home. Most importantly, what it tells me is that according to Richard Allen, he's the only one that would have had access to that weapon. Now, I think this is huge, and people can argue all day long the value of comparative ballistics from an unspent or an unfired round. But common sense suggests to me that if the state of Indiana can prove to that jury that Richard Allen's weapon is the only gun on earth that could create those scrapes, those artifacts, those imperfections on the bullet casing when it's cycled through the weapon, they have an incredibly powerful piece of evidence. And that piece of evidence could place Richard Allen, and we know it does place his weapon at the crime scene, whether it was separated and dropped there like the conspiracy theorists believe, or whether it somehow was cycled out of the weapon in the course of this frenzied assault on the girls. Again, it can be argued all day long that this unspent bullet may have been cycled through Allen's weapon and then strategically placed at the scene by Odinists who were attempting to frame Allen. Possible, but is it probable to you, especially when we compare it and join it with this growing list of circumstantial evidence in the case? And there is circumstantial evidence. There are admissions, and we're going to talk about those in a minute. There are eyewitness accounts that place him at the scene and confessions that he was at the scene. Well, as my conversation continued on Court TV, the topic of those jailhouse confessions by Richard Allen came to the forefront. And, Barbara McDonald, in her interview with Allen's previous attorney, revealed that the defense is going to argue that Allen's confession was compelled and that he did it out of fear from these Odinist guards or other conspirators in the community. And that brings me to reason number 9. So let's listen to that exchange for a moment.
You had not heard of Odinism when it first was floated with regard to this case?
I honestly thought, I was like, no disrespect to Mr. Baldwin and Mr. Rosen, because they're excellent lawyers. I thought it was hocus pocus. I honestly didn't, I never heard of it. And the more I got into it, that's a real thing. It is a real thing, and it's scary.
In what way?
Well, I believe they sacrificed a girl and killed another one.
Now, Mike King, I want to put this back up on the screen because when you and I first heard about this, we were skeptical. And then the state had to respond to the allegation made by the defense, and they said that Sergeant Redacted and Sergeant Redacted have worn patches that refer to Odinism. These are the people watching Richard Allen. Those patches reflect the sergeant's religious beliefs and are not associated with any kind of cult. Sergeant Redacted did not remove the patches from his vest until ordered to do so by command, and then apparently got the tattoo. All right, so Mike King, where do you see the line between religion and cult? Because I think that's significant here, because if someone's practicing their religion, they're practicing their religion. They might believe something different than we do, or something different than their neighbor believes. Everyone's entitled to practice whatever religion they want. But if you're getting into the world of cult, that raises a red flag, and to me raises a greater possibility of something bizarre like a ritualistic sacrifice. But first, you got to cross the line into it being a cult. So how do you see that issue?
You know, as Barbara interviewed, I thought it was so interesting that the message that came across is every Odinist is committing murders out there, which we've had guests on the show with us here, Vinny, that you've brought in that are followers of this Odinist
Is that what the fuck
ideology.
he said?
They absolutely repel that idea and say, no, it's a very peaceful kind of a group of people. Every cult I've ever looked at boils down to whether it is coercive in nature or not. And so when you think about mainstream religion, the openness of mainstream religion, sometimes we could argue their phone speaking to might have Vinny from an investigative standpoint. I mean, this is really compelling. On April 3rd, 2023, Richard Allen was on a jailhouse phone speaking to his wife, and he told her that he killed Abigail Williams and Liberty German. Now, police confirmed this by reviewing the transcripts of the call, and they confirmed that he admitted that not just once, but several times, stating that he committed the murders. In fact, it got so bad at one point that his wife just hung up on him, terminating the call. In all, reports suggest that Allen has admitted that he murdered the girls at least 5 times while talking to either his wife or his mother on those jailhouse monitored phones. Now, our conversation on Court TV evolved at that point into cult behaviors and cult leadership dynamics. So let's catch those comments as we try to wrap our heads around how difficult it would be to have multiple people involved in a major conspiracy without losing control of the secrecy required to get away with double murder.
Let me follow up really quickly on this. For it to be a cult, does there have to be like a leader or like leaders that...
And for the client to participate in their own defense in the preparation of their case. This could result in some major appeals in the Richard Allen case if he's in fact convicted. And this leaves me with the 10th reason why Richard Allen might be found guilty of murdering Abby and Libby. Now, I'm not sure how I missed this initially, but it's been reported that police also recovered another .40 caliber unspent bullet that had been cycled through Richard Allen's Sig Sauer handgun. That to me was remarkable that they did. The thing that makes this so intriguing to me is the place where that bullet was found. You see, the reports suggest that it was found in a keepsake box, and that keepsake box was held in Richard Allen's bedroom. So my question is, why was this bullet so important that you'd store it in a keepsake container? Is it a reminder of the crime scene? You know, a trophy of sorts? Or was it a simple oversight as he was emptying his pockets and he thought, I'll just throw the bullet in here until I have time to put it with all of my other ammunition? I don't know, but it leaves me hoping that we're going to get the answer during the trial to that question. Because in that trial, we're going to also learn how Abby and Libby died, and this is all part of number 10. Police are indicating that the girls suffered sharp object wounds. What else is this autopsy going to tell us? Is it going to say that they died by a sharp object? Did they die by a gunshot wound? Was there blunt force trauma or evidence of strangulation? The autopsy is going to be critical in helping us hypothesize what really happened instead of just speculating recklessly. So there you go, folks. These are my top 10 reasons why I think Richard Allen might get convicted of murdering Abigail Williams and Liberty German in Delphi, Indiana. Each of these points is undoubtedly going to be argued by the defense, and perhaps many of you. We'll have to see how the chips fall on this one, but I'd like to know what your thoughts are. And frankly, as long as the defense successfully refocuses our attention on Richard Allen's treatment by the correctional facilities or the actions of a judge.
Well, I have one list, and I think Richard Allen's going to be found innocent due to one thing: Todd Click. Todd Click is my answer to this. My answer to all of this is Todd Click. He's law enforcement, right? I would love to know what you think about Todd Click. Who's law enforcement? You think one of your own is going to literally go up against all of this? And this is not after the fact. This was during an investigation. And it wasn't just one, it was three men. Fantasy, Murphy, Click. This is wild. What is he talking about? What is this man? Did he not read the Franks? This was a month ago. He's laughing. He's like, I can't wait to hear what you guys think about it. Well, I think that you're absolutely off your rocker, but that's okay.
Abigail Williams and Liberty German in Delphi, Indiana. Each of these points is undoubtedly going to be argued by the defense, and perhaps many of you. We'll
All
have to
of
see
us.
how the chips fall on this one, but I'd like to know what your thoughts are. And frankly, as long as the defense successfully refocuses our attention on Richard Allen's treatment by the correctional facilities or the actions of a judge who may have made poor decisions, we're not going to be focusing on the elements of this murder and on the facts of this case, the kind of facts that must be proven in order to convict Richard Allen of murder. And not to be outdone, as long as the defense and all the conspiracy theorists out there successfully refocus our attention on Odinists or groups of killers and cult behaviors, we're not going to be focusing on the facts of this case and the elements of murder, the kind of facts that have to be proven in order to convict Richard Allen of murder. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on this one, and I hope you'll put them down below. And make sure you're hitting that like.
I have no words, but make sure you guys go tell them what you think. Okay, let's take a look. Again, this was a month ago. Oh, donated. Yes, let's take a look. We're going to go over here to share screen, expert for the Richard Allen. Round this out. Look at that, another 200. Nick should get his money back for that video. I don't even. You guys heard it, right? So I'm not crazy when I was listening to it, right? Everybody's donating. Look at this one, another $200, man. I can't. I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. Maybe he needs to go watch a hearing. I don't have words. I'm sorry, but I just don't. But then this is who mainstream media puts on their panels, all because he's ex-law enforcement. Let's have him up there. God. So let's see what else we got here. There's another 10 Reasons Why. 29,000 people watched that. So, yeah. All right, guys. Again, do me a favor and help me out. If you can't donate, it's not a problem. Do me a favor and go to the link is pinned. You have an opportunity to share this by spreading the word, by sharing it on those Facebook groups that you guys are in. See if they'll let you share in the Facebook groups. Twitter, you can share it like right here. So if you cannot afford to donate, guess what? It's okay. There's another way to help. And it's by spreading the word. Okay, spreading the word. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spread the word. We're donating. I pledged $180 because I wanted to do $1 per minute per 3-hour session. So this is the first of the 3 hours that we're doing from TNT. This is about us too, guys. This is not just about Richard Allen. It's about us too. So please go. If you cannot donate, it's okay. There's a way that you can help. Another way, which is to share this. And you can go spread the word on Facebook. You can highlight the link, save it, clip it, and then put it. If you have a YouTube channel, you can spread it to family, friends. I mean, anybody. Go ahead and email Gull the link. How about that? You know what? You know what I think would be funny? Let's write Gull an email and put the link in there.
No, they're all ending up in the docket. Please do not write Gull.
It was a joke. It was a joke, but I think that somebody should write Gull, and just all you have to do is just share this link.
No, Gull is planning. Gull is
just so you could be part of the record.
Someone's gonna do it, but Gull is actually probably planning to X everything based on what she's sharing. In my opinion, she is doing something really nefarious by acting like there's transparency right now when there isn't. So there's going to be a problem with that. So maybe just write, I don't know, do a petition. But if you write her, it's going to be a problem.
But I just think that if somebody was to just highlight the link, send an email, send her the link, and say, I wouldn't even write anything, I would just
everyone just write Gull.
Send the email with the link. Done. Body of the message. Please consider donating. Sleuthy, go ahead. Be part of the docket. You guys, this is about us just as much as it's about Richard Allen. This woman is off her rocker. These people that talk about this case, there's no even like. It chaps my ass because all of these law enforcement people know that DNA got everybody out of false confessions. There are such things as false confessions. It's a real thing. It is so real. And can you imagine being in a room in isolation for 23 hours out of 24 hours and being treated like this? And it's
beyond that. He's cuffed and shackled
like
when
this.
He's in and wearing a bulletproof vest when he's in the courtroom, you guys. So it's more than that. And he hasn't even had his trial.
Unreal.
So
Sleuthy says, Bella, there's 82 petitions about Gull right now.
Well, she's putting everything on the docket every time anyone emails. So
yeah.
There's a reason for that. And that's probably because she wants to ban coverage even more. And she's probably going to start hiding stuff from the docket and saying that it's overburdensome.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, this was one out of the 3 hours that we're doing. So we'll be doing another one of these in the near future. I'm looking forward to having other creators / subscribers / subs, anybody be hitting the link, come up, tell us what you think about Gull denying funding for a fair trial for Richard Allen. And I want to hear Mike King. Maybe I can get him on here to talk about what do you think about this denying of the funding? I mean, I want to hear these people talk about this. Okay. Like, stop throwing them softball questions. Like, here, what do you think about this? How could anybody be okay with this? All right. So take care, guys. We're on our way out. Again, much love to you guys. I cleared my schedule. Did you clear your schedule? Yes. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much. Go and visit that site. Share it. Again, you do not have to donate if you cannot afford to donate, but there's other ways to help, which is by sharing the information. So please consider. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm here, girl. Did you want to speak?
We're just gonna start this one. Which one do you want to see?
Are we watching Paranormal Activity?
No, he wants to watch something else, so we're just gonna start it.
All right. All right, guys.
Done? When-
Over now. Much love.
Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder is sure a major step in leading to the conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation. Of this long-term and complex investigation.